Anytime. All right. Good evening, everyone. If you could please take a moment to silence your cell phones, should you have them. All right, we're going to get started here in just a moment at 6:30. Just have a few folks coming in the back. We'll allow them to get seated, and then we'll get underway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please come on in and have a seat. We're about to get underway. Good. All right. All right. One more reminder to please silence your cell phone if you haven't already. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the San Dimas Candidate Forum. My name is Brett Strauss. I'm an attorney based out of Claremont. My office is in Upland. Thank you to the City of San Dimas for having me and the San Dimas Chamber of Commerce for the invitation to moderate this evening's event. Before we jump in, just a few ground rules, if I could, please. I wanted to take a second to thank the audience, the City of San Dimas, KWST Television, the San Dimas Sheriff's Department, the volunteers, and all of the candidates here for making this event possible tonight. The audience is encouraged to listen to the candidates as they present their positions and answer the questions that they receive from you, the constituents. Questions are encouraged by the audience and will be taken in written form with the index cards that you'll see located on the seat next to you. Please take a moment, write your question on the index card, raise it up in the air, and one of my volunteers will come by and pick those up and bring them up here to the front sorting table. If you, at any point in time you have another question and you need an extra card, please just raise your hand and the volunteers will come and bring you additional materials. The questions will be grouped if they refer to the same topic and or issue, and they will only be taken today, on the day of the forum, right? Meaning there are no pre-prepared questions. Reminder, this event is an educational opportunity to learn more about the candidates up here to my right. The event is open to the community and will be available on the City of San Dimas' YouTube channel after tonight's event. Okay? With that, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. A few more ground rules before we get started with the questions. Okay? The seating for the candidates will be determined by the order of their names on the ballot. The order also determines their order of speaking this evening, and the order will be reversed for the closing remarks. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. A timekeeper, located right here in front of me, will signal after 1 minute has elapsed, and then signal again when the 2 minutes are up. The order of speaking, again, will be determined by the order of the names as they will appear on the ballot. The use of electronic devices is prohibited. The candidates up here do not have any laptops, phones, or iPads, etc., just pen and paper. Index cards, right, as I mentioned, notepads and pens are permitted. After the opening statements, I will ask written questions that are collected from you, the audience members. The non-resident volunteer panel, down here to my left, We'll review the questions to consolidate those pertaining to the same subject and to remove any of those that might be personal in nature and or irrelevant to local issues. The candidates will then have 1 minute to answer each question. The timekeeper will signal once at the end of the minute, and then I will remind the candidates again that the time is up. After each question, I will rotate the order of the candidate's response. So for example, Eric will start off with the first question, and then James will go first on the second question. After we get through 12 questions, or 8:15, each candidate will then be allowed 1 minute for a closing statement. Again, the timekeeper will signal at the end of the 1 minute, and substitute speakers are not allowed. Candidate forum rules: no campaign signs, clothing, or banners of any type will be permitted within the venue inside this room. I'm sure as you walked in, you noticed that there are signs and materials out front for you to take on your way out this evening. There will be no electioneering and fundraising during our event this evening. And all candidates were notified that it's their responsibility to notify their supporters of these rules in advance. Candidates may bring campaign literature and information to the area outside the forum, which you saw. Okay, and the material must be displayed outside at the table at all times. We covered that. Okay. Candidates are welcome to remain after the forum to speak informally with members of the audience. So should you have any questions or concerns that you'd like to share afterwards, the candidates here have been notified that they'll have time to meet with you outside of the event. Okay, and with that, the order of the opening statements, we will start with Eric.
Well, I'd just like to say, firstly, thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event, and thank you for all of your time and attention tonight and being here. This really is an important event, and it single-handedly can dictate what the future of the city looks like, so I sincerely appreciate you being here. My name is Eric Weber, if you don't know me, and I am your incumbent District 1 City Council person. My entire adult life I've dedicated to public service, and that was in the U.S. Navy, as a police officer and detective, as a public safety commissioner, and finally as your San Dimas council member in District 1. I have lived in San Dimas for over 16 years and raised my kids here for 9. And I'm here to tell you that San Dimas is the best kept secret in LA County, hands down. We have wonderful schools, parks, Western heritage, small town charm, and wonderful community members. I love all of those things about living here. And it's a really exciting time to be in San Dimas because right now we are planning through the Downtown Specific Plan and other initiatives what the future of the city is going to look like and what we want it to be. 4 years ago, I sat on this very stage and promised to move San Dimas forward and do so with a fresh set of eyes. I'm so proud of everything that we accomplished, and by we, I don't mean the City Council, I mean everybody in this room, because that's what this is all about, is everybody in the room. And so much good stuff has been accomplished in that time. Unfortunately, we've had some leadership changes in the city at the very beginning of that, but in the meantime, we've pushed back against anti-public safety agendas, implemented technologies that we didn't have before, did what we could to push for local control to protect our city against overdevelopment, made some hard choices to ensure the financial security of our city, and we weathered a storm called COVID-19, and we didn't lose a whole bunch of small businesses like some cities did. We did all of this together, and continuing this work is my vision for the future of San Dimas.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, James.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Shirley, and I want to thank the San Dimas Chamber of Commerce for hosting the Candidates Forum, Brett R. Strauss, Esquire, for moderating this event, and the residents for attending tonight. I am married to my lovely wife, Esther Shirley. We have 3 sons, of which 2 are deceased. We have 5 grandchildren. We have a strong family. Our children and grandchildren attended Fred Estrand Elementary, Lone Hill Middle School, and San Dimas High School. My family and I have lived here in San Dimas for 24 years. I attended the University of California, Irvine, where I obtained my BA degree in social science with emphasis in political science. I also received my MBA in management. I worked 36 years for Xerox Corporation, where I retired as a Xerox operations manager. I served as the commissioner for the San Dimas Senior Citizens Commission for 6 years, and I'm currently the San Dimas Planning Commissioner. I love this city. I'm proud to be a resident of this city, and I'm involved in my city. I'm involved with the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts. I work with the March of Dimes. I'm a member of the United Nations. I'm a member of the San Dimas Chamber of Commerce. I mentor students at the University of California, Irvine. I'm a member of the San Dimas Senior Club, the San Dimas Historical Society, the San Dimas Estrand Elementary PTA. I'm on the advisory committee for Mount San Antonio Community College, and I work with the Los Angeles Health and Task Force. And I'm just proud to be here, and I'm looking forward to becoming your councilman for District 1. Thank you.
All right, thank you, James. Rachel.
Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Rachel Bertakos. I was born and raised here in San Dimas to my parents, Jeff and Terry Templeman, along with my brother, Stephen. We grew up in the heart of the community amongst local leaders, volunteers, and activists. My dad served on city council, and my mom volunteered for the Historical Society, and they are still both very active volunteers in the community. I went to our local schools. I went to Ekstrand, Lone Hill, graduated from San Dimas High School, was always involved in student government. After high school, I went to Citrus Community College and later graduated from Cal State Fullerton with a degree in anthropology. Then I did, as most do, and I got married. I helped my partner open up several small businesses, had children, and quit my job to become a stay-at-home mom. But you know, life doesn't always work out the way that we think it is. And I found myself a divorced mother with 2 children under 2 years old, and I had a decision to make. What role model was I going to be for my children? I juggled 3 jobs, and I got my license in real estate. I opened up my own small corporation so that I could work within my own small business restraints. Since then, I have ran my own successful career, bought my home here in San Dimas, and I volunteer for numerous organizations, all while raising my 2 wonderful sons here in the town that I love. I'm running for San Dimas City Council because I'm invested in this city and the future of this city. This is my city. This is your city. I want to be a part of the positive growth that I see ahead of us. San Dimas is a great place to live, and by being an independent perspective, I wish to bring change to the community. I will help to improve public safety, I will support small businesses, and maintain our small town feel. And most importantly, I will never lose sight of what is best for San Dimas.
All right, thank you. Julia.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Julia Panisetti, and I would like to thank everybody that is here, city officials, city staff, the deputies, our moderator. A big thank you to the citizens of San Dimas that are here, watching on TV, and especially my 3rd District neighbors. Sorry. I may not be the most eloquent speaker tonight, but once elected, I will be the hardest working city council person for the city. I will make sure that I represent the 3rd District in the way that I know I can, with a moral compass and being faithful to my oath of office. As a resident of the 3rd District in the town core, I have been a businesswoman, a mother, a wife, a community volunteer / executive board member for San Dimas Softball. I run a small business out of San Dimas and South El Monte. I have volunteered my time for the last 2 years with San Dimas Softball. I started as a team mom, then became a board member, and then an executive board member. I have been the only 3rd District candidate to show up in person to city council meetings, to study sessions, and to community events. So I'm already here doing the work for my district. I'm running to bring new ideas and a new way of thinking with no ties to old politics. As your city council member, I will work for smart, beneficial business development in the city. I will work with everybody to combat homelessness. I will work with everybody to enhance community programs. And lastly, I will work diligently to ensure fair resources for the 3rd District. I hope to answer the questions as best as I can. If you would like more detailed explanation, please see me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, before we jump into the first question, please, candidates, take the microphones and move them just a little bit closer to you as we get through here, please. All right, I'm going to put this up here and do the same. Okay. All right. Our first question, starting with you, Eric. How would you balance working towards your own goals while also working effectively with others?
I manage to do that every single day, as a matter of fact. You know, the challenging aspect of being on the city council for the last 4 years has been working full-time in a career that often involves working after hours, working late, and also being able to dedicate time to the city. And I think there is a balance to be struck there. Sometimes it involves late nights and study sessions and closed sessions with the city council, and waking up at the crack of dawn early in the morning to go off to work. But it is a sacrifice that I think is worth it. The city of San Dimas is on a better path than it was when I first got on the council, and I really truly believe in the direction that we're headed, and all of those late nights and early mornings, they've all been worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, James, how would you balance working toward your own goals while working effectively with others?
You know, that's an ongoing challenge, but it's a challenge that I've been able to meet throughout my life. There has to be a balance. You know, I have a family, I have children, I have grandchildren. If elected to city council, I have responsibilities there, and when I was working, I made it a point to make sure that things were balanced. Because when they're not balanced, it creates problems. And so balancing my own personal goals along with the goals of the city council would not be a challenge for me.
Thank you. Rachel, how would you balance working toward your own goals while working effectively with others?
Well, I'm a mom. It's what I do every single day. Multitasking is my superpower. While running my own business, I manage my kids' schedules, their Little League, I volunteer. It's all working towards the same goal, which is generally to help people. It's what I do in real estate, it's what I do in my volunteer organizations, and it's what I do for my children. Having a supportive family is incredibly important for the goals that I have for this city, and I do have that. Clear communication is also one of the skills that I have in order to make things smooth and reach our goals.
Thank you. Julia, how would you balance working toward your own goals while working effectively with others?
Well, I do have 3 small children, so I do understand what it is to balance life. They all have different schedules that I have to work with on top of me volunteering with the San Dimas softball. So I can work hard, and I do work hard, and I will work hard for the city.
Thank you. Okay, question number 2. I want to start with you, James. What are you going to do to attract businesses that would provide a youth outlet here in the city of San Dimas?
Well, I would, as I'm trying to bring in businesses for the community and also trying to generate revenue for the community, I would also want to make sure that these businesses would be interested in helping to improve the quality of life, not only for our children, not only for our young adults, middle-aged adults, or our seniors, but for everyone, especially our children, because our children are our future, and we need to have activities for our children to do. And I think working with them, collaborating with them in terms of helping them grow their business, as well as making it easier for them to do business here in San Dimas, I think they would be willing, and most businesses are willing, to reciprocate within the community, because the community is what supports the business needs to support the community. So that's what I would do.
Thank you. Rachel, what are you going to do to attract businesses that would provide a youth outlet here in San Dimas?
Well, first of all, we need to find out what it is that our youth needs. It starts with talking to people and creating relationships. As a member of the San Dimas Chamber of Commerce, networking is extremely important, and finding out what other cities in our region are doing to positively impact our youth. I'm also involved with Lone Hill PTA. I've been an avid volunteer with Extrand PTA, and I am on the executive board of the Bonita Council PTA. So I do have a direct relationship with our leaders within the Bonita Unified School District. I would find the need, and then I would find the resource.
Thank you. Julia, what are you going to do to attract businesses that provide a youth outlet here in San Dimas?
I think Rachel said it the best, to be quite honest. I would find businesses, talk to the community, and see what is it that they're looking for. For example, I know that Claremont has a really cool chef program at a store. I can't remember the name, Claremont Chefs, I believe. And I think that would be amazing to have here in San Dimas. I know at the birthday party we went to, everybody was from here in San Dimas and had a great time.
Excellent, thank you. Eric, what are you going to do to attract businesses that provide a youth outlet here in San Dimas?
So I first want to talk about the larger issue there and what are we going to do about attracting businesses. And 4 years ago on this stage, I talked about soliciting feedback from the community to see what it was that the community actually wanted. We were able to do a citizen satisfaction survey, and the number one thing that, or not number one, but one of the highest priorities was a vibrancy in our downtown area with restaurants and the like. So while that's not necessarily tailored to the youth in our community, we were able to deliver that. I mean, we have a list right here of 6 or 7 restaurants that we were able to open in our city during that time frame. But there's something to be said about how we attract businesses. The city needs to create the environment in which businesses can succeed. And I think what we've done during COVID, where we were flexible with rules, we were willing to entertain municipal code text amendments to allow businesses to operate outdoors. Things of that sort would be the type of accommodations we need to make for youth activities. Thank you.
Okay. Rachel, we'll start with you. How can we ensure that low-income housing is not constructed across the street from City Hall in the Albertson Shopping Center?
Well, that's a very good question. The way that we ensure that the low-income housing isn't right there is that we are proactive and we make the choices before the county makes us make choices that we don't want to make. We can provide affordable housing to people in a San Dimas way. I believe that it is possible, and I believe that it is something that San Dimas should be a part of, but we should do it proactively so that we retain our local control.
Thank you. Julia, how can we ensure that low-income housing is not constructed across the street from City Hall in the Albertson Shopping Center?
Well, I think then we need to look at different locations for that to happen if we don't want it in that exact location. But again, that would be up to the citizens of San Dimas, working with city staff, finding the best location that we can find.
Okay, thank you. Eric, how can we ensure that low-income housing is not constructed across the street from City Hall in the Albertson Shopping Center?
I think the biggest thing that we can do to prevent that, if that's what we would like to do, is to petition our county and state legislators who have forced communities like San Dimas to plan for not only low-income housing, but housing of all types, including the regional housing need assessment number that we've been tasked with, which was somewhere around the neighborhood of 1,200 or 1,300 units, a portion of which would inevitably be low-income housing. I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. We need to be smart about it, but it also involves, if we do not desire to have that type of construction in our city, it involves changing the way we vote on a county and state level so that we're not being pushed down these mandates to do it.
Thank you. James, can we ensure that low-income housing is not constructed across the street from City Hall and the Albertson Shopping Center?
Well, I think it's going to require a collaborative effort with the city council, the staff here of San Dimas, with the county, the state and federal government, and also soliciting the input from the residents here in San Dimas, and making sure that we're looking at various areas where we can erect low-income housing. But I think it needs to be something that is workable and is agreeable by not just one entity or not just the city council, but I think it really involves listening to the voices, which is our collective voices, and the people who run the city as to what we can and cannot do. And we also need to have options. I think there's always options. I think things, when we look at the options that we have, I think it makes it a lot easier to make a more informed decision. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, question number 4, we'll start with you, Julia. What are your public safety plans to address the homeless and mentally ill that spend time coming in and out of our city?
So I would continue to keep working with the CAT team, with the Sheriff's Department, LACADA, and making sure that the services are given out to them as often and as needed as possible. It's going to be an ongoing situation that we need to be ahead of, and thankfully our city is very good about being one step ahead right now, and I would like to continue that effort as much as I can.
Thank you. Okay, Eric, what are your public safety plans with regards to the homeless and mentally ill that spend time coming in and out of our city?
This is a very nuanced topic that I could probably go on for about an hour, but I will save you all of that stuff and boil it down to just this. The city has done an excellent job of engaging with LACADA. We contracted them to do the outreach in our community to place individuals into long-term housing, not just a temporary Band-Aid where they're going to be back out on the streets. That's important. But it's also important to know that I will never, ever advocate for the rights of a person who is passing through our town to sleep or to defecate or to urinate, wherever it is that they please. We do not, if they do not accept the services that we have to offer, we do not have to tolerate their disrespect for our community. That is very key to my beliefs being in public safety. The other part of this is that that we also are drafting a set of city. Oh, I'm getting cut off. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Eric. James, what are your public safety plans with regards to the homeless and mentally ill that spend time coming in and out of our city?
Well, again, I think we need to realize that these are human beings, and these are human beings that need help. And, you know, life is not always kind to everybody. Some of us get beat up worse than others. But we still have a moral obligation to make sure that everyone is cared for, because I cannot be all I can be if you're not all that you can be. And I feel as though I have a moral obligation, we have a moral obligation to try and help those who are less fortunate. But I think we need to come up with programs that are going to be able to address this issue, be able to treat the people that have mental illnesses, and those that do have it, they're probably going to need to be cared for life. So we got to have programs for that. Some are just struggling right now and just need some help, and we need to have programs to help them get on their feet so they're not always just stuck with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, what are your public safety plans with regards to the homeless and mentally ill that spend time coming in and out of our city?
Well, we are very, very fortunate to be under the sheriff's watch here, and Captain Ash and his deputies do a wonderful job. I think it's going to be very important to increase the relationship that we're going to have with the captain, who will be in charge of the actual metro and the station, in order to assure that our voices are heard. We need to make sure that the metro is accountable for the safety of our platform. We also need to be compassionate, and we need to offer services to people who want them and need them, and create partnerships with mental health organizations within our community.
All right, thank you. Question number 5, back to you, Eric. How do you plan to integrate seniors in the community? with any particular business plans or programs?
You know, every once in a while I'll get something in the mail, and it's the city magazine. I think for the most part, before I got elected to council and before I started getting involved in the city, it kind of just made its way over towards the trash can, and I never really cracked it open. But the beautiful part is that seniors already are a part of our community, and they play a large part in not only the goings-on of the city, but also activities that are going around in the city. So if you crack open that magazine and look at what's going on, you'll find a bunch of really fun activities for kids and seniors. And if you look just across the street over to the Walker House and the Historical Society, the Chamber of Commerce, we have seniors involved in all of those programs, in addition to our Senior Citizen Commission. So there are plenty of ways to get involved as a senior in the community. We welcome everybody regardless of age. Thank you.
James, how do you plan to integrate seniors in the community with regards to any particular business plans or programs?
Well, one of the things several things that I would do is, one, to ensure that the seniors can access the resources, the activities, and housing. And I would want to collaborate with the seniors because I think that's intellectual capital that I think is overlooked. Seniors have a lot of wisdom. They can help us run this community more effectively. And if it wasn't for the seniors, we wouldn't be here. So we have a moral obligation to give back to the seniors. And I would also want to make sure that I improve their quality of life, and I would demonstrate to them that I value them, and I would work with them to help them obtain additional services. Because they were at one time making sure that the younger people were taken care of, and now it kind of reverses. We need to make sure we take care of our seniors. And a lot of people don't realize our seniors, okay, is the largest, okay, group of people we have, period. They are a powerful group.
Thank you, James. Rachel, how do you plan to integrate seniors in the community with any particular business plans or programs?
Well, the first step is talk to them. Let them know what's going on. Just be a smiling face and let them know what's in the magazine. If they don't know, if they don't have, be somebody to get them the resource. Leverage our Senior Citizen Commission and find out what is it that they're hearing that our seniors need. Right now, I know we have a wonderful senior center. It's very lively. When I went there to meet with Mr. Nikowitz, I saw people really enjoying themselves. What I did learn is that we need to bridge the gap between seniors who need help and don't know where to find it. And I'd really like to start focusing there.
Thank you. Julia, how do you plan on integrating seniors in the community with any particular business plans or programs?
By making sure that the seniors are always offered all of their programs all the time, making sure the ones that maybe don't know about a program will know about a program, making sure that they can get the services they need, the rides that they need, making sure, working with the commission to make sure everything is taken care of for them.
All right, thank you. Question number 6, we'll start with you, James. What is one of the biggest changes that you'd like to see in the city of San Dimas?
Well, currently right now, we're working on the downtown Pacific plan, and one of the things that I want to work on, and I'm sure everybody else is concerned, is to make sure that we go about doing this the right way. Because we want to make sure that and I want to see smart growth, okay, and innovation that's going to maintain our unique small town character and protects our environment and provide for modern infrastructure. And it's a difference between growth and smart growth, because I don't want us to move too fast to where it winds up creating problems further down the road. I want to make sure that as we work on this downtown Pacific plan, it's not going to force certain people out of our community. We all live in this community, and we need to make sure that this plan is going to be beneficial for everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Rachel, what is one of the biggest changes you would like to see in the city of San Dimas?
I think it's one that we would all agree on. I would love to see a cohesive, lively, diverse downtown, one that serves all residents, serves our youth, serves our seniors, somewhere that people can go and they feel safe. I do think that the Gold Line is going to offer a unique opportunity to provide positive services and feed into our downtown specific plan. I was fortunate enough to be on that advisory committee, and I think there are great things in store for San Dimas.
Thank you. Julia, what is one of the biggest changes that you'd like to see in the city of San Dimas?
The biggest change that I would like to see in San Dimas is, I think, what everybody would like to see, have a little bit more in our downtown. I don't want to take away from the charm of our antique stores and our hair salons. I want to add to it. I want to bring new business that can bring in new revenue for this city. I think we are missing out on a lot. And with the Gold Line coming in, if we don't bring something to bring people off of the train, all we're going to have is homeless issues.
Okay, Eric, what is one of the biggest changes you would like to see in the city of San Dimas?
I think absolutely I'd like to see a vibrancy in downtown. I would absolutely like to see, the rodeo come back to San Dimas. But I think the main thing that I want to see change in San Dimas is get back to a place where we are no longer looking at a structural budget deficit in the next year. We were able to make some changes, adjust some fees, do a fee study, and take about a third of our budget deficit out of the picture. So now we're only working with about 2/3 of what we thought we were going to be struggling with. But if the city's not financially healthy, then everything in the city is going to suffer. The roads are not going to get repaired. Our parks are not going to get fixed up. None of those things that we know and love about San Dimas are going to be able to be maintained. And so that's why, by and large, my top priority is a financially healthy San Dimas.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to take a second here to ask the audience if there are any additional questions. I'm down to my last question here from my volunteers, so we can stop at 7 if you'd like, or we can go up to 12 if anybody has any additional questions. Please raise your hand. Oh, no worries. Thank you. Okay, question number 7, starting with you, Rachel. Okay. Do you feel that all is fair in a political campaign, and how far would you go to win?
Ooh, I get to be first? Listen, I think this has been a very fair and respectful campaigning period amongst all of the candidates here. I'm proud to sit with these people. It's been a great experience. What would I do to win? Well, just what I'm doing, trying to talk to as many people as I can, learn as much as I can, and be available for people. I just wish to be a voice and wish to do the best for San Dimas.
All right, thank you. Julia, do you feel that all is fair in a political campaign, and how far would you go to win?
Well, I mean, just doing what I'm doing, knocking on doors, talking to people, finding out what the 3rd District wants, needs, and I want to be there for you guys. I want to be your voice, and I think I can do it if you would just let me.
All right, thank you. Eric, do you feel that all is fair in a political campaign, and how far would you go to win?
No, not all is fair in a political campaign. I think we've all seen political campaigns go sideways, and it's just not a good look. It doesn't make San Dimas look good. It wouldn't make the candidate look good. As Rachel said, everybody up on the stage has been extremely respectful to one another, and I have the utmost respect for every single one of them. I'm proud to sit up here on the stage with them. What it takes to win a campaign is to have a can-do attitude and some walking shoes, because you're going to put some miles on those things. You might wear those soles out, so have a spare pair handy. But that's what it takes to win a campaign, is have a good, solid base, a good message, and a good set of walking shoes. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. James, do you feel that all is fair in a political campaign, and how far would you go to win?
Well, my philosophy has always been, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, and that is, the most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And I'm running to be the voice, okay, in District 1. And I'm working for the people, and I want to work with the people. I don't believe in doing things that create a smear campaign or making disparaging remarks against someone else, because in the end, it's going to be up to the people, okay, based on your message. And I try to make sure I have a message that's going to resonate with all people, because I'm going to be representing all people. And I believe by us working together, we can accomplish anything. And the problems that we have, they're all created by man and woman, and man and woman can resolve these problems. We just have to take that approach and collaborate with one another and work to make this.
All right, thank you, James. Question number 8, we'll start with you, Julia. Safety in our city is very important. What is your opinion on owning a gun for protection?
Oh, wow. That's kind of a loaded question right there.
Pun intended or unintended?
Kinda. To be honest, I mean, it's up to the individual, and I hope that you take the classes that are required to own a gun, and if you feel that you need it, then you need it, but as long as it doesn't get pointed at me, I'm fine.
Eric, safety in our city is extremely important. What is your opinion on owning a gun for protection?
I absolutely 100% can say with a fair degree of certainty that what is going on in our society right now, where lawlessness is somehow tolerated, is not okay. And the fact that anyone would even ask this question is troubling to me, because that means that someone doesn't feel safe in their community, and that's my utmost concern. To build on that, if you feel that you need to own a gun to be safe, I will never, ever interfere with your ability to do that whatsoever. It is ingrained in our Constitution, and there is absolutely nothing that any one of us that is sitting up here on this stage should do to get in the way of that. What I would encourage you to do is to stay educated, stay trained, carry the proper insurance to do so, and just make sure that you are doing all of the proper things, including storing any potential weapons that you buy correctly.
Thank you, Eric. James, safety in our city is highly important. What is your opinion on owning a gun for protection?
You know, as individuals, we have to respect and love one another, and we have to implement laws and procedures to protect one another. And we cannot afford to have everybody walking around with a gun, because the Frank and Jesse James days are over, okay? It didn't work then. Now, at the same time, okay, if according to our Constitution, people do have the right to bear arms, but I think as a collective society, we have to work together with one another to make sure that that's not the way we want to live, because sometimes those guns that we own can get in the wrong hands, sometimes in the wrong hands of children. Sometimes children can wind up killing other children, you know, can wind up killing adults, you know, or what have you. But, you know, I'm not going to interfere with someone's right, because it is a constitutional right, but I just think as a community, we can come together and make sure, it takes all of us to make sure that we have a safe community.
Thank you, James. Okay, Rachel, safety in our city is highly important. What is your opinion on owning a gun for protection?
Well, it's short and sweet. It is somebody's right to own a gun, and it is their personal choice. I personally feel very safe within our city and think that our Sheriff's Department is doing a fantastic job. And that's it.
Thank you. Question number 9, starting back with you, Eric. How important do you feel it is to be responsive to the residents of San Dimas via phone or email as it pertains to city issues?
That well, being responsive to the public is incredibly important. There's many different modalities on how to do that. I think phone and email is fantastic. However, again, there's plenty of other means of doing that. I particularly pay close attention to all of our community groups on social media, and am responsive, even if somebody is not even asking me a question directly. If a problem is posed on a community forum or a question is posed on a community forum, I'm able to quickly identify it, jump on it, and most of the time answer the question before anybody else has responded to that particular post. And I feel like that is the type of engagement that people are looking for, even though they're not saying they're looking for it. Thank you.
All right. James, how important do you feel it is to be responsive to residents via phone or email as it pertains to city issues?
I think it's very important, and being very responsive will make it a lot easier as a city councilman. It would make it a lot easier trying to address the needs of the constituents within my district as well as the city of San Dimas. When people have issues, I need to be responsible because they've elected me as their elected official, and I work for them. And if they got an issue, I need to make sure that I can address that issue and get back with them regarding that issue in a very timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, how important do you feel it is to be responsive to residents via phone or email as it pertains to city issues?
It's like the most important thing that we can do as a city council for our residents. By being available, we can provide transparent communication. We can be clear. We can eliminate bad information from running wild, like wildfire. We need to pay attention to our residents. They need to be heard. I cannot be your voice if I am not listening. So it would be my promise to you, I'm available. As a realtor, I'm already available.
Thank you. Julia, how important do you feel it is to be responsive to residents via phone or email as it pertains to city issues?
It's very important because that issue to that person that's asking is important and they want an answer. So whether or not I know the answer, I will get back to them as soon as I can with, yes, I know the answer, here's the answer, or let me do my homework on that and let me find the answer for you. And, get back to them in a day or two.
Thank you. Question number 10, starting with you, James. What is your take on potentially reviving the former neighborhood council?
Well, I think that if that's something that the constituents wants to see done, and as a result of collaborating with my colleagues on the city council, working with the staff, and if we believe that that's going to be in the best interest of the city and the constituents, then I'm open to collaborating and seeing how we can make this a doable thing. Because I'm always concerned about making it a win-win situation. I don't think it has to be a either-or. But I think when you can make it a win-win situation, I think everybody benefits. So if this is something that the constituents want to do, I want to make sure that I get the facts, collaborate with the appropriate people, and make it happen.
All right, thank you, James. Rachel, what is your take on reviving the former neighborhood council?
I didn't make the rule, I just follow them. The districts were created to implement equal resources to make sure that all neighborhoods were heard. And I think that's a really great thing. Once elected, I am here for everyone. So your voices will be heard and I will be here for the community at large. But again, what the people want, that's what we will do.
Julia, what is your take on reviving the former neighborhood council?
If that's what the third district wants to do, I'm all for it. I know that the third district is actually unique in a way that it has little pockets of its own. So there's the town core, there's the Gladstone, there's Lone Hill. So if they want to have multiple representatives to represent that each little district within the third district, great. I'm all for it. More ears, more people listening. Let's do it.
Right. Eric, what is your take on reviving the former neighborhood council?
Well, my first take at that is that I would have to figure out what the neighborhood council was because I am unfamiliar completely with it. And then secondly, if this has to do with districts, I mean, nobody wanted to go to districts. I don't think it's something that we were forced to do, kind of had a legal gun to our head. And I don't think it benefits the city as much as the court system apparently says that it does. The one thing that I would say is that I prefer that the city remain cohesive and together. I don't want neighborhoods battling against each other if that's what this neighborhood council would be doing, is having small pockets of representatives from different neighborhoods. I think even though we are in districts, it's very important that everybody on the council remain dedicated to the entire community and not only look out for their particular pocket of voters. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question number 11, starting back with you, Rachel. How significant do you feel that tree preservation is in the community in contrast to, all the removals to aid development?
I support preserving our urban forest areas, our open spaces, the natural environments, and protecting our trees. I support this with balance, making sure that whatever the development is when we're looking at this and trees or whatnot, whether it's public safety and trees, as long as there is balance and it is best for the majority of San Dimas, I support it. And I think our city is very beautiful, and I think the trees are a testament to some of the work that has been done.
Thank you. All right, Julia, how significant do you feel tree preservation is in the community in contrast to removals to aid development?
I guess it depends on what kind of trees we're talking about. Are we talking about in somebody's home, in their backyard? Are we talking about public trees? If it's in somebody's private residence, they should be able to do what they want, get the correct kind of permits, be able to do all that. If it's public, then it stays. There's nothing really we can do unless it becomes a nuisance and a hazard.
Thank you. Eric, how significant do you feel that tree preservation is in the community in contrast to removals to aid development?
I do think that this is a very substantive discussion. Trees are absolutely a great commodity for our city, and they add quite a bit of value to our neighborhoods. I will say that it really does depend on the situation. Are we talking, a nuisance tree? Are we talking a invasive tree? We can't just have a one-size-fits-all blanket. We keep all trees. There are trees that are just grow like weeds and don't really add all that much value. They choke out native trees in the area and native vegetation. If it is an oak tree or some sort of native tree that is full-grown and is absolutely worth preserving, then I'm of the opinion that a project can be built around that, and it can become a actual addition or something good for that project.
Thank you, Eric. James, how significant do you feel tree preservation is in the community in contrast to removals to aid development?
Well, I think that there needs to be collaboration between the developers, the city, the residents, as to what trees we want to preserve, how many trees they're talking about taking out as a result of what type of development, and this development, how is it going to benefit the city, how is it going to benefit the residents. If you're talking about trees that are on someone's property, I think a different approach has to be taken. We're talking about trees that are in parks. I think that's a different approach as well. But since we're talking about development, it all depends on how many trees are we talking about having to remove as a result of this development. And once again, how is this going to benefit not only the community but the residents of the community? So it's not an easy question to answer because.
Okay, thank you, James. Moving on to our 12th and final question of the evening. We'll start with you, Julia. How do you envision the city meeting the required number of housing units?
with smart development, working with city staff, making sure that the county isn't imposing on us what we don't want. As long as we stay a step ahead of what we want, then we can't let county tell us what to do.
Well, thank you. Eric, how do you envision the city meets its required number of housing units?
So if we're talking about the regional housing needs assessment number that we were given of 12 to 1,300 units that should be earmarked for the city, we are actually not required to build a single one of those. What we are required to do is have a place to put them. And so what we've done as a part of our RENA cycle, which is an 8-year cycle, is to designate certain plots of land in which the city would deem appropriate based on certain state guidelines for where housing projects should be located, and basically designate a place where we feel like they could be built. That doesn't mean that the property owner has to sell it. That doesn't mean that any of it has to be built. In fact, the prior 2 housing cycles before this most recent one, we've built precisely 0 from that RENA number. So the idea that we're going to build 12 to 1,300 units is not true. I think maybe some will be built,
right.
but
Thank
not
you,
all.
Eric.
Thank you.
James, how do you envision the city meeting the required number of housing units?
Well, I think there has to be ongoing negotiation between, so like the city, the county, and so like the state, because things change. And as they change, we have to continue to collaborate and negotiate and make sure that it's something that is doable. And we want to make sure that it's going to be beneficial for the residents as well as for the city. And then what we don't want to do is tear down buildings where it's affordable for people, and we wind up putting in new housing that becomes unaffordable, and then we wind up having those people that was in a place that was affordable, now they become homeless. So we got to be careful about that. And we want to make sure that we do the right thing that's going to be beneficial within our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, how do you envision the city meeting the required number of housing units?
Well, as a member of the Housing Element Committee, we were tasked with having to identify several areas within the community where we could put housing. That is the key word here, where we could put housing. Now, to take it a step further, I was the member of the Downtown Specific Advisory Committee, and with that, we've created the vision for where these homes will be, what they will look like, and to make sure it's zoned, so if we ever have to do it, we have a plan.
All right. Thank you. Now on to our closing statements. Just a reminder, it will be 1 minute, and we will start with you, Julia.
As you've noticed, I may not be the most eloquent speaker up here, but it is my hope that you also notice that I speak from the heart and I'm genuine with my answers. If you would like to learn more about my policies, please visit my website at www.juliapanassettiforsandimascouncil.com. To my neighbors in the 3rd District, when you get your ballot in the mail, I would be honored if you entrust me with your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric. I'm sorry, reverse. Rachel.
Oh, I didn't even know that. So my involvement with the city started well before I decided to run for city council. At the last city council meeting that I attended in December, I announced my candidacy, and it got me going, all right? I am here today not because this is easy. This is hard. I sit here because I know that I can bring San Dimas together. I sit here because I can facilitate positive change. Change is coming, and it's going to be okay, as long as we retain our local control in creating partnerships to protect the integrity of the town that we all love. I will be proactive, I will make hard decisions, and I will be an independent voice for my community, and I will lead with respect. I must thank my generous supporters and my volunteers, for without you I would not be here. I need to thank my family, my mom, my dad, my brother Steven, my partner Ryan, and my children Logan and Luke, who are still at basketball practice. We went too fast. Without your support, I could not sit here today. I humbly ask for District 3 vote on March 5th.
Thank you. James?
I'm running to be your voice in District 1 and at the City Council meetings. I will bring a new perspective to the City Council. I will be accessible, transparent, involved in my constituents. I am open to new ways of running our district and the City of San Dimas. I'm skilled in management, marketing, finance, sales, consulting, auditing, conflict resolution, budget and contract negotiation, strong collaboration, working with diverse groups, and building strong teams, as well as getting things done in a timely manner while balancing the budget. I want to work with the constituents, not only within District 1, but in the entire city of San Dimas, of helping San Dimas as we go through this downtown transition plan of becoming a model city of which other cities will want to emulate. I'm asking for your vote, and if you want to find out more information regarding my campaign, it's real easy. It's votejamesshirley.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Eric?
I think some may look at all the topics and issues that have come up in the city that we've discussed tonight and say that there's a lot of doom and gloom going around, but rest assured our community's safe. It's relatively financially sound and comparing itself to other cities around the state. Our city staff members are dedicated professionals, and we're a diverse community filled with fantastic neighbors that care about each other. These are the reasons that San Dimas is such a great place to be. We've accomplished so much together over the last 4 years, but that work is not over yet for me. I must remain vigilant in defending the city's character against crime, homelessness, parking impacts, overdevelopment, densification, and do this while ensuring that our city remains financially sound. I'm proud to serve you as your elected council member in District 1, and I humbly ask for your vote so I continue to do so for a second term. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, candidates. Again, I'd like to thank you, the audience, for spending time with us this evening and providing all of those great questions. Thank you to the City of San Dimas, KWST Television, the San Dimas Sheriff's Department, my volunteers, and all of you, the candidates, for making this event possible. Just a reminder that the forum will be available on the city's YouTube event later tonight. The city's YouTube channel later tonight after the event. And don't forget, the election is taking place on March the 5th, 2024, and please, please, please vote. Thank you all and have a great evening.